Welcome to week 1 of the Commissioner's Report, brought to you by Burger King, proudly serving Jake Hutchinson for 23 years. What a week. Some barn burners, some boat races. It's a great day for fantasy football, so let's get into it. Let's look and see how each team fared this week in fantasy football. In one of the most surprising games of the week, Strumman's Allowance, led by Will Moody, went head-to-head with 3 Inches Hard, led by me and Steve Blake. Moody coming off some very strong years. Me, not so strong. Hutch, who really knows? So let's look at the scores. Carlos Hyde has surprising 29 points. He led the league in points this week. The first round pick for 3 Inches Hard, C.J. Anderson only had 3 points, so that was kind of a big mistake. We left D'Angelo on the bench, who was playing for Le'Veon Bell. He scored 12 points, which would have been nice to have. Now looking at Moody's team, he left Marcus Mariota on the bench, who had 4 touchdowns in the first half for 24 fantasy points, and started Cam Newton, who, as we all know, kind of sucks, only scored 12 points. Moody's bench plus his starters was 102 points. 3 Inches Hard starters alone were 115 points. Things aren't looking good for Strowman's Allowance. Let's hope that he can turn things around. And 3 Inches Hard looks pretty fucking strong. Oh, and for all you guys wondering, 3 Inches Hard, Hutch has a 3-inch dick. I just don't have one. All right, good game. All right, next we had Jameson's Foreskin, led by Robert Sullivan, versus Fogel's Fantasies, led by Big Daddy Lewis. For the first time ever, I can say that Carson Palmer outscored Peyton Manning by 20 points, which was very surprising and very unfortunate for Big Daddy. Gronkowski led Jameson's Foreskins with 27 points on Thursday night, which is a huge, huge play for a tight end. And Rob had 5 players scoring double digits for a pretty solid outing. Now going to Fogel's Fantasies. Travis Keese led Fogel's Fantasies, another tight end. So both these teams, the tight ends were their leaders. Brian left Danny Woodhead on the bench, who scored 18 points. Danny Woodhead is one of the rare white running backs. Could it be a racially motivated pick? Is Brian racist? Yeah, probably. Probably hates whites. And on a big loss for Fogel's Fantasies, Deshaun Jackson was out. Only scored 0 points and is out for at least a month, which is going to really hurt him, even though he's on the Redskins, which kind of sucks. But the final score was 117-89 in favor of Jameson's Foreskins. Way to go, Rob. Looks like it's going to be another good year for him. Bush is my forte. The team led by Eric Fredman went head-to-head against Hutch's 40-year-old girlfriend, led by Charlie Stroman. New name, really like it. Let's see, look at Bush is my forte. They were led by Drew Brees with 16 points. He left Amir Abdullah on the bench, and he had 15 points, which would have been really helpful. Safe to say that we all know that Eric's a racist and was not picking a Muslim on his team. The reason he lost is probably because his name sucks, and that really hurts you. So sorry, Fred. On to Hutch's 40-year-old girlfriend. Big Ben to Antonio Brown was a huge combination for him. They combined for 37 points. He left Bishop Stanky on the bench, and he had 20 points, so you might want to consider starting him next time, Stroh. And the Rams defense scored a lot of points this week, and they're going against the Redskins next week. So it's basically an automatic 40 points for them. So watch out for Stroman next week. I think it's going to be a very strong game for him. The final score was 66-93 in favor of Hutch's 40-year-old girlfriend. All right, next is What is Fantasy Football, led by the new kid, Hayden Lovett, going against Eric's Ignition Interlock, led by Will Harrison. Hayden really lived up to his name of What is Fantasy Football by kind of struggling this week. Owen Daniels and the Patriots D combined for a total of 0 points. I warned you about Owen Daniels. That's on you and you alone. He left Kendall Wright on the bench, who scored 16 points, and Dan Carpenter, his kicker, was the second highest scorer. So not a great week for Hayden. Looking to bounce back next week. Going on to Harrison's team, Clemson's Nuke Hopkins led the team with 23 points, but Sammy had 0 points. So Clemson helped a lot in one hand, hurt you in another hand. Adam Vinatieri went 0 for 1 in extra points for a total of -1 points, and he had 5 players scoring double digits, so overall a good performance by Harrison. The final score was 70-97 in favor of Eric's Ignition Interlock. All right, 2 games left. We had Tyndall's Downward Spiral, led by Craig, going against Law School, led by Scrames. Very fitting matchup, seeing how Craig's in law school, so he says. First off, Romo and Forte for Tyndall's Downward Spiral combined for 44 points, so I want to apologize for giving you shit about picking up Romo, but he's still Romo, and he's still a little big, so fuck you, Chris. He only had 17 points on the bench, but at the end of the day, who gives a shit? You know, he won, so his bench really doesn't matter. The Dolphins' defense and special teams scored 14 points, but that was against the Redskins, so it really doesn't count. Going on to law school, he only had 3 players score in double digits, which is a little weak compared to the average of most teams. He benched Percy Harvin and Dante Moncrief. I don't know how to pronounce his name. They scored 23 points combined, compared to his other wide receivers who only scored in the single digits. And his leading rusher, LaShawn McCoy, had a very weak outing on Monday night, so hopefully for him he can bounce back. The final score of this matchup was 92-79 in favor of Tyndall's downward spiral. And now on to the prestigious game of the week. This one was an absolute barn burner. Came down to the last minute of Monday Night Football. We had Team Tampa, led by Andrew Howard, going against The Boat Show, led by Michael Vincent Fotia. Let's see. Looking at Howard's team, he had 3 players, Tom Brady, Julio Jones, and the Panthers' defense scored 20-plus points, which was very impressive. Unfortunately, his supporting cast did not do as well, seeing how all of his running backs combined for only 7 points. All he needed was Zach Ertz to gain 15 more yards on Monday. He would have won this game. He still has Reggie Wayne on the bench, and he's still a free agent and very old. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. So now looking at the Boat Show, you still have Ryan fucking Tannehill starting as your fucking quarterback, Fotia. You did not deserve to win this game. Howard should have been the goddamn winner. Anyway, Tannehill only scored 11 points, which is huge for Tannehill. Besides Tannehill, he had 5 players scoring double digits and 4 bench players scoring double digits, which is very impressive. So unfortunately, Fotia looks like he could be a powerhouse in this league. I hope to God he doesn't. The final score of this one was 97-98 in favor of the Boat Show. So that was our game of the week. Wish it ended a little different, but, we can't all win.